Everyone has felt it at least once. The warmth of being someone's everything. Someone calls only when they need something. Someone comes back only when they have nowhere else to go. And you open the door every time because it feels like love. But what if it was never love at all? What if it was just need? This story is about something most of us have never questioned. We were taught that love means sacrifice. We were told that staying is strength. But sometimes the most important thing a person can learn is the difference between being loved and being needed. Quietly, gently, and often by someone who truly believes they care about you. Let me tell you about a woman named Maya. Maya lived in a small village, nestled between two mountains, with a river that curved just enough that you could not see what was coming until it was already in front of you. She was not wealthy, and she was not well-traveled, but everyone in the village knew her name because everyone needed her. If a neighbor's fence broke during a storm, Maya brought her father's old tools without being asked. If someone's mother fell ill and they had no one to cook, Maya prepared extra meals and brought them over. When young Priya from the valley lost her baby and locked herself inside for weeks, it was Maya who came every evening with tea and sat beside her in silence until she found the courage to cry. People said Maya had a generous heart, and Maya believed them because when she helped, she felt something close to peace, like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. She had a man in her life named Arjun. He was not her husband, but they had been together for 4 years. He was a quiet man with soft eyes and strong hands. A man who worked on the farms when there was work to be found. But Arjun could not always find steady work. And when times were hard, he grew distant. He stopped visiting her home. He stopped asking how her day was. He would sit by the river and stare at the water, and Maya would bring him food without being asked, and he would take it without a word. When he finally found work again, he became himself again, warm, grateful, full of small jokes that made her smile. Maya told herself this was love. She told herself that this was what caring for someone looked like. You hold them through the dark, and the light comes back. And for years, she accepted this rhythm as natural. Her closest friend was a woman named Leela, who had grown up with her since childhood. Leela had a sharp tongue and a bright laugh, and she had always been the one to pull Maya out of her own quiet world. But Leela also had a habit. Whenever her life became complicated, whenever she fought with her husband, or struggled with money, or felt ashamed of something she had done, she came to Maya, not to ask how Maya was doing, not to bring anything. She came to pour, and Mara received it all. After every visit, Leela left lighter, and Maya sat alone, heavier than before. Still, Maya told herself this was friendship. She told herself that a true friend shows up in hard moments, and she was proud to be that person. There was also a young boy in the village named Kavi. He was 15, restless, and always in some kind of trouble. Not cruel trouble, but the kind that came from not knowing what to do with his anger. His father had left when he was young, and his mother worked in the city, only returning once every few months. Maya took him under her care. She gave him work in her small vegetable garden. She listened when he talked about his dreams of leaving the village. She lent him money when he needed books for school, always telling herself she did not expect it back, but always secretly hoping he would prove himself worthy of her trust. For 2 years, Kavi came to her when he had no one else, and she gave and gave and gave. He called her the closest thing to family he had ever known. The words filled her heart so completely that she did not notice she had stopped sleeping well. She did not notice that her own small garden, the one she had planted for herself, just for herself, had gone dry and untended. One summer, everything shifted. Maya fell ill. It was nothing very serious, but serious enough that she needed to stay in bed for 2 weeks and could not help anyone. She sent word through the village that she was unwell. She waited. Arjun came once on the second day. He brought water from the well, and sat with her for maybe an hour. But after 5 days, he stopped coming. When she finally saw him again at the market, he said he had been busy with work and thought she would understand. He was not unkind. He just made it clear in quiet ways that needing care was supposed to be his role, not hers. Leela came once on the 4th day. She brought a small basket of fruit and spent most of the visit talking about a fight she had with her husband. Before she left, she squeezed Maya's hand and said, "You will be better soon. You always are." And then she was gone. Kavi did not come at all. Maya lay in her bed and stared at the ceiling, and something inside her became very still. Not sad exactly, not angry, just still. The way a river becomes still right before it freezes over. She thought about the fence she had fixed for the neighbor, and how that neighbor had never once asked if she needed anything. She thought about old Ramesh, whose roof she had helped repair after the monsoon, and who, when he recovered, barely nodded when they passed on the road. She thought about Leela and all the hours she had listened, and how Leela would grow quiet and uncomfortable the 1 or 2 times Maya had started to speak about her own pain. She thought about Kavi's words, the closest thing to family, beautiful words. But a child who loves you comes to you when you are sick. And she understood something, not with bitterness, but with the quiet, aching clarity of a woman who had finally stopped looking away. She hadn't been loved, she had been useful. These are not the same thing. Being loved means someone sees you when you have nothing to give. Being useful means someone sees what you can do for them. You can be deeply useful to someone who does not think about you once when you are no longer useful. And the painful truth is, if you fill every empty space in every person's life, they will never have to find another way. They will never have to grow. And you will grow smaller, quietly, without anyone noticing, including yourself. Maya got up from her bed on the 14th day. She walked to her small garden. She pulled out the dry weeds, turned the soil with her own hands, and planted new seeds. Not for anyone else, but for herself. She decided something simple and enormous that morning. She would still help people, but she would help differently. She would help when it made her feel like herself, not when it made her feel afraid to say no. She would help from a full place, not an empty one. The next time Leela arrived at her door, with a storm behind her eyes and a story already forming on her lips, Maya poured 2 cups of tea and sat down. But before Leela could start, Maya spoke first. She said, "I want to tell you something that has been sitting with me." And she did, quietly, honestly, without drama. Leela was surprised. She did not know what to do at first, but she listened, and something small and real passed between them that had never passed between them before. It was the beginning of an actual friendship, one where both women were present, not just one. Arjun noticed the change in Maya too. She stopped bringing him food when he grew distant. She stopped filling his silences automatically. She stopped disappearing into helpfulness before he could think to ask. At first, it made him uncomfortable. Then, it made him curious. He began, slowly and a little awkwardly, to ask her things. "How are you feeling? What do you need? What are you thinking about?" Small questions, but real ones. And Maya realized something. She had spent so much time being there for him that she had never given him the chance to be there for her. She had never let him grow into someone who could love her, not just need her. As for Kavi, he came back months later, looking a little older and a little quieter. He stood at her door without a problem in his hands for the first time. He said he had thought about her when she was sick, and he had been ashamed that he had not come. Maya invited him in. She did not say it was all fine, and it did not matter. She said, "I noticed, and I want you to know that the people who care about you should show up, and so should you. You are old enough for that now." He nodded. He understood, and that conversation gave him something that her silent giving never could. It gave him a standard to rise to. Maya did not become a cold woman. She did not close her door, but she learned to open it differently, with choice, not obligation, with love, not fear. And something extraordinary happened over the following months. The people who truly cared for her became more visible. They had always been there. A few quiet ones who never asked for much. An elderly woman who always smiled at her. A farmer who once left fresh vegetables at her door without a word, but she had been too busy pouring herself into the loudest needs to notice them. Now she saw them. Now she had something left to give to them and to herself. If you have always been the one who gives, ask yourself one honest question. When you had nothing to give, who stayed? The people who love you are not the ones who need you most. They are the ones who want you, not just what you do. Being needed can feel like love, especially if no one ever showed you what real love looks like. It feels warm, it feels important, but need is hungry, and it does not ask how you are. It only asks what you have. You are not a service. You are a person. And the moment you start treating yourself that way, you will see clearly without anger who was ever really there. Give, be kind, open your door, but do it from a place that is yours. Do it because you choose to, not because you are afraid of what happens if you don't. That isn't coldness. That is the beginning of real love for others, and most importantly, for yourself. Maya planted new seeds that morning, and her garden grew back stronger than before. If something in this story felt familiar, if you recognized yourself somewhere in it, then this channel is for you. Every story here is a seed. And if you press like, leave a comment, share this with someone who needs to hear it, or subscribe so you don't miss what comes next, you are helping this garden grow. You are helping someone else find the words they didn't have. That is not a small thing. That is exactly what real love looks like. We'll see you in the next story.